Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and I'm going to be getting back in the saddle, deep into our research starting tomorrow. But one thing I wanted to mention is the situation that's going on with the Golan over in Israel. That is something that we know that Lindsey Graham had said he was going to push the White House in order to finally say that the Golan belongs to Israel and to make that stand. And of course, President Trump, he did exactly that. He has made good on Lindsey Graham's promise to make the Golan a part of Israel. And for me, it's been kind of a mixed emotion. And I really had to do some very serious biblical studies, because I know that the God of Israel has always stated through his prophet Moses that we were not allowed to move our stake of our different ancestral tribes. We're not allowed to take someone else's land, in other words. And just recently, as you guys know, I did a video because it was shocking to me to find out that the prophet Isaiah, as well as Matthew, who quotes him when he writes about Yeshua in the time when Yeshua was up in the area in the tribal lands of Naphtali. And that land there, east of the Jordan River, around the Golan, called the Golan, the Galilee area, according to Isaiah and according to Matthew quoting Isaiah, this land belonged to the Gentiles, and which would be the Syrians, which would make sense. In fact, this is also a reason why we hear about that the fame all around Galilee spread about Yeshua, and the Syrians came to him and they were everyone healed. So for me, I look at the biblical aspect of when we're looking at land, just like the Prime Minister Netanьяху claiming that Israel is a Jewish-only state is in defilement and of the very sacred writings of the prophet Moses. This land is divided amongst 12 tribes. And I'm really, some of the research that me and Jan are doing are really starting to find out some very disturbing aspects when it comes to the Pharisaic roots. And we're going to be revealing those things in the very near future more and more as we dig deeper and discover more. But getting back to the Golan, John Bolton says that he would rather Israel have this and control this than Syria, as he calls it, the regimes of Syria or Iran, because of the atrocities that President Assad has committed. Well, I have to agree with Daniel McAdams when it comes to this issue, because if Assad has committed any atrocities, it's definitely no worse than what the United States has done, or Israel arming these jihadists who have murdered the Christians over in Syria. Not to mention, you have to remember, in Gilad, this is where the covenant was made between Laban and Jacob, which is Israel, the father of all 12 tribes. They made that heap of stones that we were not to pass over and they were not to pass over. Well, that just happens to be just south of the Golan. So, all this talk about the Golan, saying that it belongs to Israel, in reality, if we want to take it from a biblical aspect, it doesn't. And that's just the truth of it. Now, up and handing it back over to Syria, I can't say that that's going to be the right thing to do, but maybe it would be the right thing to do. I don't know. I realize at this point they're looking at more for national security. They're looking for a buffer zone. And of course, in the Golan, it is loaded with mines everywhere. So it's not an easy place to inhabit to begin with. So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. And, hey, I like to stick with the Word of God, not just what we think politically. And especially with all the oil that's being discovered in the Golan. That's one reason why, too, Israel and the United States wants to make sure that Israel keeps the Golan. And maybe even if Israel did keep it, I would say this much here. The profits from the oil should go to the Syrian people then, or it should be divided amongst them, because in actuality, it's not our land, and we have no right to claim something that doesn't belong to Israel. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Shalom, and a world of Ein Shalom. Till we talk again tomorrow.